Welcome. I'm here. My name's Jake. I'm from Unearthed Sounds. We have Jay from ENiGMA Dubz, and we are talking about forthcoming Awakening album. So this is your second album that's coming out now, right?
It's actually, believe it or not, my fourth album.
Wow.
But it's the first album on vinyl.
Yes.
So it's the first vinyl album. Yeah.
And you were quite gassed for that, right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
This has been a big project. This has probably been the biggest project to date by far.
Yeah.
Like, I've never put this much effort and time into the product after the music's been done. Normally it's just very much get the music done, get it out, people are listening to it, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Whereas with this it's like, right, let's do something more serious now.
So how long did it take you to piece together the whole arrangement, as it were?
For the album, in terms of the music, it's been over, I'd probably say, a 3-year period.
Yeah.
Most of the tracks came together over a year in 2020, but there was like one of the tracks in particular, Lost Souls, that was produced in 2018.
Okay.
In an airport when I got stuck in Germany.
Yeah.
I got stuck after a show in Munich, and I had 8 hours in the airport, and I managed to find a room that had no lights on, and I just sat in there for like 6 hours, and that track came together.
Right, the whole thing.
That was the track, yeah.
Nice.
So that's been in the locker. The rest of it, there's one other track with Coma, that's been in the locker for like 2 years. The rest of it's all new. Yeah.
Yeah, banging. So we're listening to Replicants, and this is the A1 from the vinyl.
So on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Lost Souls track, man, in the airport. It was great. It was called Munich initially, and then I was like, yeah.
Just Lost Souls because you were stuck in an airport.
It wasn't even that. What happened was I was watching this animation on YouTube. This animation called Coda. I don't know how I found it. And then I synced it with the audio the day after when I got home and put it on my Facebook. And just had ... just as a 1 minute sample.
Yeah.
And it just went off, mate. Like my biggest video to date on Facebook.
Fucking hell. So that's Replicants, first track on the sampler of the vinyl. You've got covered quite a lot of styles in this album.
Absolutely.
You've always been into a lot of different types of music?
I think, yeah, definitely. I've always been into all sorts of music. Even with ENiGMA Dubz, I've just kind of tried to keep it focused on bass music.
Yeah.
But then deviate, so dubstep. Primarily dubstep from the word go, and then like future garage, downtempo, and then sometimes D&B, like on this album as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always just liked to keep my head fresh. I just find that if I just make one style of music, I'd just get stale.
Yeah.
And I hit writer's block then. Whereas if I'm doing lots of different stuff, I'm always ready for something new.
Yeah. When you're producing, is it like, what sort of brings you that inspiration to write a track? Where does that come from?
It's really hard to say, to be honest. Most of the time when I start a new track, I just go with the flow. It rarely happens where I'm doing something else and I'm like, oh gosh, I've got to write that down. I'll usually just I'm just always in the zone, really. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Quite often I start with percussion, so I've sometimes got a genre in mind from the word go, but sometimes I'll load a synth up and I'll hit a sound on a synth and it'll just straight away just sway me towards one style or another, yeah. And then it's just really organic.
So just sit down, just try and just... Do you try and make something, or do you just sit down and sort of see what happens?
Yeah, like sometimes it's just see what happens, and then sometimes I will be inspired. Like I might be in the car listening to a new mix, and I'll hear a track in particular. I'm just like, right,
Yeah.
I want to make a tune right now. Yeah.
Do you find there's a sort of a competitive element as a producer of like hearing something and like want to be like, all right, okay, I want something that's similar to that?
Yeah, not competitive in a bad way. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost just like, I absolutely buzz off other people's music. I really love it, especially if someone's doing well. So like anyone up and coming, if I see that their track's been played in a mix, I'm buzzing about it because we've all been there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it urges me to be like, I want to do something, especially if it's something new I've not heard before, and it like throws some inspiration my way. Yeah.
Something completely fresh that's just like,
yeah,
brilliant.
Exactly, yeah, man.
Because this next track that we're going to have a little listen to is sort of a bit of a grimy number, right?
Yes.
And it's with SO is
SO,
the
yeah.
MC. I'll just have a little preview of it now.
Yeah, man.
You know the certain cue, looking like they might search and groove. I know I got my workman boots, I know I got my workman shoes on. Looking at me, just move on. I got my own like Mulan. They want a war, I cool off. I tell them beef takes too long. I'm trying to work and stack. I know they hear that fact. You know what hurts in fact? Me when I come right back. Keep it thorough for real, I'm up in your face. Yeah, I go to move with millions up in the safe. Keep it thorough for real, I'm up in your face. Yeah, I go to move with millions up in the safe. Millions up in the safe. I go to move with millions up in the safe. Millions up in the safe. Millions up in the safe. Yeah, millions up in the safe. I had to come and relate. You did not come to my face. You know we nothing to play. If you just talk then save it. I am the one for conversating. I got a goal I'm contemplating. You know the aim, we concentrating on. You gotta admit you're in awe. Somebody get them involved.
So this is Up in the State, features SO, wicked track.
Thank you,
Absolutely
man.
Wicked.
Thank you.
Those vocals just give another level to it.
Yeah.
What was it like working with him?
Working with SO was a pleasure and just so easy because sent him the instrumental. There's loads of space in the track for a vocal. As soon as I'd made the instrumental, I knew I needed a vocal on it. And he was back 24 hours later. Vocal was recorded like a pro. Do you know what I mean? Not much clearing up to do. Everything on the beat. He'd done a few little production tricks already. So it was just like done like 24 hours later.
Nice.
And it was just, yeah.
Because you feature quite a few vocalists on this album, right?
Yeah.
And you're right, you're saying you made it 2020, 2021, so sort of that lockdown sort of period.
It was.
How was that working with artists not being able to be in the same room with each other?
Yeah, so it was all remote. All of the vocal tracks, besides the Coma track, are all new vocalists. I've never worked with them before. And they're all vocalists that I met through the publisher.
Yeah.
So they were all new acquaintances, people that I'd met through doing some co-writing projects for the publisher. And then afterwards we were like, right, these guys in particular I really want to work with for the album.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so it was all remote really. It was like, do my part of it, send it over to them, and then see how they get on with it. And all three of them came back really well, so.
Because this next track, Lost Souls, is another one with a vocal on it, right?
No, this one's a dub, this one is.
Ah, okay.
This one's a dub, it's just really vibey. Just straight atmospheric vibes with this one, yeah.
Where did the inspiration come for this?
This was just stuck in an airport in Germany, 8 hours to kill, found a room with nobody in it at all, really comfortable chairs. Must have been some Star Lounge or something from British Airways, I don't know what it was. And I just thought, I'm just going to get in here. And I was listening to like trap and stuff on my on Spotify, and this just came about. Some of those some of the sounds in it are like vocal samples, which I just recut and formed into like a different riff.
Yeah.
And that was the starting point. And then the main thing with this is the hi-hats are really like scattered. They're not quantized.
No.
So I'll try to make all the sounds follow the hi-hats as well.
Okay, so that was the sort of driving element.
That's
of
the
it.
driving element, offbeat,
Yeah.
which is great to listen to, but to mix it's absolute pain.
Because as a musician, like, you make computer-based music, but you're also a celloist, right?
Yeah, I'm a cellist
Yeah.
back in the day, yeah. So it's all came from classical music, so I've got all that built into me, 15 years of classical studying, and then total curveball came when I discovered garage music, when I was like 14,
Yeah.
yeah, and then that steered the direction slightly away from classical music.
Took your attention a little bit. more
Yeah,
to the
man, it
dark
was
side.
like listening to my Discman all the time at school with garage music on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of your favourites who were there?
Oh, back in the day, I'm like probably Wookie, Zinc, Zed Bias. I think there's a lot of garage producers. I can call that Sticky.
Yeah.
But it's the darker stuff which really got me. There was a CD called Bass Breaks and Beats that
Okay.
DJ EZ did for Pure Garage.
Yeah.
But it's the first one he did on the dark tip, and it was that CD. And there's a particular track by the Beat Freaks. It's called Speaker Box.
Yes.
That track changed it all. And funny enough, I left a classical concert. I was walking back through the arcade in Birmingham, and I walked past a nightclub, and that track was playing. And I was wearing a suit with a dicky bow, carrying my cello. I was like 15, and I walked past, and I just heard that tune on a big system, and I was just stood there. And I remember my parents saying, "Hurry up, we've got to get back to the car."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "What on earth is this?" Yeah.
Absolutely.
Changed the game, man. That bass line, the way that bass line moves. It's just,
For me, like, music has always been one of those things at moments like that,
Mm.
and I think everyone has them in their life of like hearing a tune that you're just like, it completely sends you on a whole new direction.
yeah.
And genres, and it just opens up so many doors, which is what, for me, that's why I love music and vinyl, and being able to hold a piece of it, like, yes.
Snap. And then when I started to DJ with my best friend, we used to play bassline and speed garage and garage.
Yeah.
And I went to the record shop, and I just dug until I found Speaker Box.
Yeah.
And then I bought that, and I was like, right, this is the tune that started it all, really.
Yeah.
So I used to just mix that all the time. Yeah.
So we're gonna move on. So this, speaking of like different genres, this next track we're gonna listen to is a liquid track, right?
Yeah.
Did drum and bass like come into your early years, or was that sort of a bit of a later thing?
No, drum and bass was early as well. Just some compilations. I think I had like probably Ultimate Jungle Volume 15 or something
Yeah.
that. But you know what it was? Back in the day, do you remember LimeWire?
Yes.
So LimeWire.
No, sorry. No.
Yeah, there was LimeWire. Yeah, we didn't know about that one. Me and my friend who I used to get into music with, we used to download stuff, and we used to make mashups on this really old school program called Mixmeister, and we used to just get acapellas and throw them over tunes in a jokey way. And all the drum and bass tunes that I could download were all Dillinger. So everything I was getting downloading was Dillinger or Lemon D. So then I really got into that sort of like heavier jungly D&B side, and I didn't really discover liquid until I was at uni.
Yeah.
And that's when I was doing more vibey ENiGMA Dubz stuff as well. And that's when I was like, I didn't really know there was a movement like this, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was all heavier D&B growing up.
And I'm breathless, waiting for you to save me. But it's hopeless, hoping for you to notice me.
Thank you, mate.
Absolutely wicked. So where did the vocal come forth for this?
This vocal was from a sample library, Splice. I'm sure lots of people know about it. I was listening through different vocal lines and this one just stood out straight away. So I cut a section out of it a bit later on just to try and manipulate it a bit. And yeah, and then there's a variety of different vocal samples from different packs in this one.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to do a liquid D&B tune for the album. I haven't done a liquid D&B tune since my last album. So I was like, this came as a purpose, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sat down in the studio to make a D&B tune with this one.
Was it quite a long process to sort of refine it, or did you find that it flowed quite naturally?
No, the track flowed really, really well, but because we wanted it to be one of the main singles, we had a radio edit done of it as well. So initially it was a radio edit, and then we extended it afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, this one came together in probably like 3 hours.
Oh wow.
Just a complete spur, like just a
Driving
blowout.
force,
Everything
yeah.
just came together, and then a little bit of tweaking here and there afterwards. So
Yeah, because I think this next track that we're going to listen to is probably what I'd associate with ENiGMA Dubz, which
Okay.
is the raw bass line,
Yeah.
just snap your neck.
yes.
So that was The Sunken Place. Just yeah, man, that's a bit of me. That is.
Hell yeah.
It was that. Do you find that like you have very different styles, and you've just come back from tour from the States?
Yes.
Well, that's a bit of a mouthful. Do you find that different the music like translates across the pond very seamlessly, or is there different styles? I mean, from what I understand, dubstep's a bit of a different beast out there, right?
Yeah, it is in a way, but I do find that my stuff translates really well, and it's just interesting because at least half of my following's in the States, and I just think they've gravitated to my stuff because it's a little bit more like open. It's not just UK sounding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've obviously gained a lot of inspiration from back in the day on MySpace, out to the Whittler. The Whittler's one of the people who I first started connecting with. And then there was Booker's Finest. We've all been like from MySpace days, seeing each other grow and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it is a different vibe out there. I was explaining to you earlier, there's a different sound in the UK. There's a sort of more cold and raw atmosphere sometimes in the UK in general.
Yeah.
And it does translate into the music. So there's certain tracks of mine which go off in the UK, whereas in America it doesn't quite hit them in the same way.
Yeah.
But like Sunken Place, for example, it would go off in America.
Yeah.
It's got a bit more of a pumped up attitude when it drops, but then it takes you down a melodic route as well. So
Is there anyone in the States that you want to give a shout out to, like promoters or events or things that we should be checking out?
Well, I've just moved my agency to Submission. So Submission are representing me for my bookings in America now.
Nice.
And I'll always big them up because it's been my favourite venue to perform at the Black Box. So out to Nicole, out to my agent Corey.
Yeah.
And then also, like, I've just come back from a tour, and the guys in Chicago as well, in particular Notion and Swamp Woofer, and in particular the sound system, which is Ronin. And they've got a wicked Hennessy sound system, and he was so like flattering to me after my set, and he just basically said to me like, I can die happy now, I've booked you. And I was just like, mate, that is amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for me to play on that system, I heard it the year before for Lunar Tide, and the depth it goes down to, like 30 hertz and below, is just ridiculous. So
You're quite an influence by sound system culture, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's one of the sort of big things.
big time, man.
For music.
I think really the sound system is definitely part of the headline on an event. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you've got a well curated sound system at an event, it makes such a difference, doesn't it? Like the way you perceive music is from the sound system that you're using. So
You can hear the full frequency
Yeah.
spectrum, and with bass music,
Yeah.
it's the most important thing, right?
like I said, mate, when I discovered dubstep, it was at Subdub, and up until then I'd always experienced sound in a club environment, which is sick, and there's some great systems out there, but hearing, I think it's a sweet potato sound system they use, hearing that was literally like, it's the first time I've accepted earplugs, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never accepted earplugs before, and when I went in the venue, I came back to the front and I was like, I'll have a set of those, please.
Yeah.
Because I was just like,
The bass is unreal.
mate, it's like having a full-on workout.
Yeah.
It's like being jabbed in the stomach, man. I was absolutely loving it. I walked in and Koki Goblin was playing, and it was, I'd never heard that track before, and I'd never really heard dubstep before, and hearing it on that system, I was just like, I looked at my wife, I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what is this music? Why am I just discovering this music? Yeah, it was hype, it was so mad.
So you've got a night coming up this Friday with N-Type and Firmly Rooted Sound System.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday the 26th, and that's going to be sick. I've not played on the Firmly Rooted system. I've been
mate.
seeing a lot of hype about it.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
big.
man.
It's very, very
Hell
big.
yeah, and N-Type and Distance as well on the lineup.
Yeah.
Out to Deep Tempo, we're putting the night on.
Shout out D-Tempo.
Yes. So that's going to be sick. It's PST Club in Digbeth, album launch night. Yeah, man, it's going to be,
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
I cannot wait. It's going to be sick, man.
Wicked. So we're just listening to, this is the
Enlightenment.
B3 Enlightenment.
Yes.
More of a chilled vibe.
Yeah, more world influences.
Yeah.
Still 140 BPM, but like the percussion's more organic. The vocal lines are quite nice and melodic and vibey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. Man, thanks for taking the time to come down and visit us.
Thank you for having me down here, man.
Mate, no worries.
It's been sick.
We've got a mix going up this week, which is a 2-hour set, covers the full spectrum, absolutely banging,
Wicked, man.
absolutely brilliant.
Really enjoyed it.
Album's out this week, go and cop that, streaming, digital, vinyl.
Yeah.
We've got some signed copies as well, right?
Absolutely.
So we've got some pictures of that coming up. Keep it locked, keep it unearthed. Big up.
You are now listening to the sounds of
Unearthed.